I really thought I could do this. I really thought that I could just innocently, play a game, which is the reason why I'm here in the first place. I thought that I could just, that we could just all kind of sort of be, I don't know, civil about things and just, just not be this way, I guess. But I think before we start playing today, and I apologize in advance if you're here just for the gameplay, I do want to talk a little bit about this. I do have to talk a little bit about this because this is turning out to be, bigger than pretty much all of what all of us thought it would be. And this is the reason why I pulled up the tweet that I made yesterday, which is just, I don't know. I didn't think that I would have to ever talk about this on stream, but it's getting to the point where it's really hard to ignore this topic, especially because I woke up today to Zepla. If in case you don't know Zepla is a Final Fantasy XIV content creator who is currently trending on Twitter, and out of curiosity, I went through some of these comments to just kind of, I don't know, to just kind of see, why am I here? What is this? I'm on, what? Never mind. I went through some of these comments, basically, witch hunting, as she herself has stated in her video, and I think the curiosity kind of got the best of me, and I actually went and looked at this video. Probably shouldn't have, because I probably could have gone on with my day and wouldn't have had the need to actually sit and talk about this. But this whole thing is just getting dangerously out of hand. By the way, if you haven't seen this video, for context or for reference, it's probably a good watch when it comes to like the just the current Hogwarts Legacy or whatever discussion. It's a good watch, no matter what side, I guess, you're leaning on or whatever. Anyways, yesterday, this was, I don't know when this was. I think this was sometime around yesterday night or whatever. Yesterday afternoon, I tweeted, and I kind of did it, I guess, at my own risk. And I'm just tired. I'm just tired of not talking about this issue. I'm tired of sitting here acting like everything's fine and just like not ever discussing these things. Hi, Iceberg, and welcome back. What's up? So basically what I said is, when the entire crowd of Hogwarts Legacy boycotters put down their foot, quit their corporate jobs, throw their phones and other unethically made things away, including clothes and food, and choose ethical consumerism at its core, I solemnly swear the rest of us will follow. Not 6 hours after this tweet, I see Zepla's video where she was basically, well, at that point, I don't know how much she's been through when it comes to like all the comments and all basically the hate, kind of pointed towards her. Hi, Zeronix, welcome back. What's up? It was quite shocking to see like all of these nonsensical things that she's gathered in this video. Not nonsensical per se, when it comes to like the things that she said. I honestly don't think that she said anything out of line. There were some things that were a little bit strange, a little bit, I guess, out of place, that I personally wouldn't choose to say. Hi, Nico, welcome back. What's up? Among those things that I don't think she should have, gone out and said, was that thing where she compared her experience and trauma of going through war with the, I guess, the trauma and the problems that the trans community is facing. I don't think that the trans community is without its fair share of struggles and issues and whatnot. I do think that there are different kinds of trauma, but they're definitely both in the category of traumatic things that are happening to people, especially in the light of recent events and that trans girl basically getting murdered a couple of days ago. No, she's not the only one. She's the one who attracted, the attention of the media, but definitely not the only person out there. I am tired of this. I am sick of not. I am sick of just basically feeling like I have to hide what I'm doing on the internet. I am tired of going through these comments every day to the point that at this point, I've just kind of given up on replying to some of these tweets or all of these tweets because people are just starting to really not make sense when it comes to this. This needs to stop. And I know that my voice is probably, a tiny voice in this plethora of voices, but Zepla's video and her talking about these issues is actually quite inspiring to see. From the standpoint of a fellow Final Fantasy XIV content creator. And if she can, knowing all of the things that she has to lose and knowing all of the decision that she's had to make when it comes to her business, when it comes to her situation, when it comes to what she's been through this whole day, then why couldn't I and why shouldn't I talk about this? Because admittedly, I feel like I have far less to lose, and everyone's voice kind of matters when it comes to this topic. Like, I would just like to address the behavior of the community. This is not just Final Fantasy XIV community. This is also the now anti-Hogwarts Legacy community that, well, basically witch hunted her into oblivion. And as it turns out, as I'm going through these tweets and the fact that she's trending and whatnot, these are the loud few. I went to her stream and checked out like the footage and whatnot, and she's actually been majorly supported by her community because she didn't actually say anything out of line. I do advise you to just like take a look at this video and judge for yourself to see why. To see if this is right or not. I think that people who have been streaming and who have been creating Hogwarts Legacy content have been incredibly patient and incredibly stoic when it comes to accepting hate, bullying, harassment, and pretty much everything that's been going on. And hi, Victor and Gnet, welcome back. What's up? It's just nonsense hate. Streamers are raising fund for trans causes streaming the game, and it's just hate, sadly. Like, I can't believe that we've reached the point where streaming a game has basically, I don't know, has people thinking that whoever is streaming the game, broadcasting the game, buying the game, or whatever, that they are bad people. Like, I don't understand how after years and years of evolution that the human race has been through, that we are now reaching this point where this is now becoming a problem, and people have chosen to be selectively ignorant about the things that they do. And I'm sick of tired of that behavior. And this tweet that I made yesterday, and yes, I did receive a fair amount of hate, a fair amount of support as well, but also hate and negative comments when it comes to this. I think, and I stand by this, I think that everyone who claims that people shouldn't be buying Hogwarts Legacy, I think that everyone should start doing their research on the overwhelming and overflowing amount of things that they own. Not just when it comes to the, essentials. And excuse me while I'm sitting here saying that not all of the food that you buy has to be what's the word? Is unethical to buy. There are sources of food that you can buy where you know who produces the food. If you really want to, support the right people, you could be going around wherever you live. You could be buying organic products from the farms, from wherever, where there's people that you know, that you trust, that will keep the money for themselves to grow their own business, that are small businesses, and you won't be supporting the big corporations and industry that you think is unethical or whatever. So once people choose to make ethical decisions about every single purchase that they've made, not just with food, not just with clothes. And yes, there are ways for you to purchase clothing that is not made unethically. You could go back, a few decades or centuries back, and you could choose to have your clothes made handmade. And this is not just something that people used to do back in the day. You can also get very rich and choose, to have your tailors who will craft the clothing that you wear without you ever having to go to these big supermarkets or big, I don't know, industries to purchase your things. Like, these things are the things that people consider essential, and I agree with that. How about the non-essential things? How about all the phones, right? Like, we all own a phone, probably. Do you think that your phones have been made in a completely ethical way? Do you think your phone is essential for your survival? I don't think so. Do you think that the hardware that's in your computer, that's in your laptop, that's in your, I don't know, in your tablet, in your iPod, in your iPad, in your whatever it is, in your car, which is also not essential, contrary to what you may think, do you think that they are all made in ethical ways? First of all, do you think that that all of the pieces of your hardware and all of your stuff is made by adults? Not really. Hi Wayne, welcome back. What's up? Sorry for a little bit of a rant at the beginning of the stream, but I really just can't go and not address this issue forever. I really need to talk about this because it's like it's up to here, and I don't think I want to not talk about this anymore. Everything, like, if you're gonna be an ethical consumer and non-selective about your choices, and if you're going to accept that your essential things are what you need to have, if you have to have your McDonald's, if you have to have your whatever it is where you get your clothes, whatever it is where you get your food or whatnot, how about you sit down and you list all the other things that you own and choose for yourself, to do research on the things that you own and choose whether or not this is the industry that you like to support. Why go around harassing people about this one singular thing? I've learned my lesson. 2 years ago when I walked out as a World of Warcraft content creator, when I started creating Final Fantasy 14 content, because I, in fact, as a victim of sexual abuse, was really triggered what was happening in Blizzard, and decided that it was too much for me as a person to be participating and funding any activities that concern Blizzard, Activision as a company. I walked out as a content creator. All I received is, yes, a wonderful Final Fantasy 14 community that I've acquired since I started streaming the game, but also I missed out on a big Dragonflight launch, which I don't actually regret because I didn't really feel like playing it at the time, but I wasn't a part of the community anymore. Dapper, hi and welcome. Said not to share it all on social media that I'm playing the game, can't be dealing with all the drama. That's one way to go about it. But at the same time, I feel like if people who are saying these things, if they are not willing to walk out of their corporate offices, their corporate jobs, and say, this is wrong, I don't want to work here anymore because I don't agree with my boss, because I think that my boss is an asshole who is a piece of shit doing piece of shit things to other people, I'm gonna walk out and I'm gonna find a job elsewhere. You could argue that it's just as hard for content creators whose job it is to create content for this game to walk out on a big launch and say, okay, I'm just gonna cover indie games, indie launches, or whatever that frankly very little people care about. And if this is something that your livelihood is that the word? Livelihood depends on? Who has the authority to go after a content creator and say what it is that they should be doing as their job? People who actively enjoy the benefits of content creation, of people like Zepla, people like Asmongold, people like myself, people like of anyone, is whoever it is, that their content they're enjoying, they're getting benefits from them because they're doing their job. And how dare you tell that person what they should be doing in order to survive, in order to continue making content, regardless of what their reasoning is? Deep down, a lot of people are streaming and covering this game because this game is big and because this game is something that they can't afford to miss out on. And I don't think that there's a single person who should judge content creators based on what they choose to cover. Mr. Hello, what's up? What they're doing about Hogwarts Legacy is just being bullied. Is a tweet about it as well. I'm Alex College. Oh, I see. Welcome. Attacking a war victim over video games is insane. Honestly, that's like the one part that I disagreed on her. Like, I think that she overstepped a little bit when she decided to basically compare the war trauma to trans trauma. Even though they're both traumas, I don't think that people take too kindly to those two being compared. And as someone who's been through war myself, I would personally never do that, even though people say a lot of things about Serbia, people say a lot of things about Serbian people. Wait, what? I'm good? Am I live? I should be live. No, I'm okay. I'm just terribly frustrated. I thought you were asking about the stream. But anyways, I think that there are a lot of people out there who say that we as victims of the war in the 90s, that we've absolutely deserved being bombed. I personally was 4 years old. I had no idea what was happening, and I still very vividly remember what was happening in my country back in the day. And I know who we've been bombed by. So from that point of view, me as a content creator, I should be forever staying away from all of the American content whatsoever. I should never be covering American-made games, content, or anything ever again. I've been to the United States. I spent a year living there. I met some wonderful people, and I went there without a trace of resentment in my heart to get to know these people without prejudice, without any sort of just war trauma, resentment, evil things. I've been asked all sorts of questions in America. I've been asked if we eat dogs here. I've been asked if we have shoes here. I've been asked if I've ever seen a computer. I've been asked why we caused the World War. Like, I've been asked so many things as a visitor, as a guest in the United States of America, that have hurt me, and that I could have kind of, taken as a reason to feel resentment towards, content. I've chosen not to, because I don't think that that's the life that I want to lead. And I don't think that that's something that I want to teach my child. I'm not saying that blind consumerism is something that we should all indulge in. But at the same time, people should not be going after Zepla. People should not be going after anyone broadcasting this game. Like, if you want to go after people in your life or people in the internet who have this show-off energy about Hogwarts Legacy, that's also wrong. That's wrong. Don't get me wrong, you shouldn't be doing that. I don't think anyone should be judged for what they do, for how they feel, for what they choose to play, what they choose to, I don't know, what kind of content they choose to create, whatever. I don't think that's right. But how dare you choose someone who actually does that for a living and tell them how to do their job? If you are working at McDonald's, or if you're working at Amazon, or if you're working at Twitter, or if you're using Twitter, right? How about using Twitter and knowing who the Twitter owner is? He's also been categorized as a transphobe. I haven't looked into it enough. I don't know what Elon Musk has said about trans people. I don't get into his business. Yeah, Zepla got attacked for a video that she's made, or I guess for the live stream, and for the fact that she has been streaming Hogwarts Legacy, and for the fact that she said enough. Like, how dare you use all these products? How dare you work at all these companies and then go after people who are just trying to make a living as well? The thing is, majority of people already engage in blind consumerism in terms of knowing who and what the creator or owner has done. You'll probably find any person and they'll tell me at least 10. Which is true, but for some reason people have chosen this particular thing and this particular hill to die on. And there are plenty of people thinking that Zepla has chosen her hill to die on. I'm gonna cut this into a video. I will publish this as a separate YouTube video on my channel, and people are gonna go into my comments saying that this is the hill that I'm dying on. We're not dying on this hill. If you are a consumer of entertainment, if you're an enjoyer of content creators who have been streaming this game, and if you choose to leave, that's your loss, because we are going to create more content. We are going to continue to create content, and for every single person that unfollows Zepla's stream or whatever initially, and there's going to be plenty of them, there's going to be 2 people who follow her because of how brave she was and because of the issues that she's addressed. And no one's gonna die on any hill. Zepla's channel is not gonna shut down. Zepla's stream is not gonna shut down. My channel and my stream is not gonna shut down. Admittedly, I have far less to lose and I'm okay with that. But at the same time, well, yeah, I guess it's easier for me to talk about these things and to go out on my new channel with my 600 subscribers or with my 2K follow channel on Twitch, knowing that I don't have as much to lose. Zepla has pretty much lost the amount of followers on Twitch that I have since she started streaming Hogwarts Legacy, and that's a difficult situation to be in as a content creator. But at the same time, I think that if you're going to choose to be a content creator and create the content that you're unhappy about, if you're going to foster a hateful community that can turn on other people and will turn on other people for their choices, you're not going to be happy with that. If you're not happy about this now, there's going to be another game. There's going to be another Hogwarts Legacy. There's going to be another Atomic Heart. There's going to be another World of Warcraft. There's going to be another game next year, next month, next week, whatever, that someone is going to have something against. If you choose to be selective about the content that you make, you're just not going to go anywhere as a content creator. And people need to start realizing that even though someone is in their growth stages of content, not everyone who has hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube or on Twitch or whatever, they're not the only people who live off of this. I got partnered on my main YouTube channel when I hit my 1,000 subs, and I've been able to have a stable income from my YouTube channel alone without the sponsorships, admittedly in Serbia where prices are cheaper, but at the same time, I think that, I don't know what I was gonna say. My train of thought just completely got lost there. I think that there is a class of YouTubers and Twitch streamers who are considered the lower class, which is actually the middle class, who are still making enough money to make things work. There's still plenty of them, and they don't necessarily have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. It is still their job. They were still brave enough, and we were still brave enough to go out there and create content full time. Even though we might not be the richest people in the world, we might be struggling a little bit still, but we've decided to do this. This is still a job for some people. Actually, I think the opposite of that, because it's easier for you to be cancelled with less fans. Soundpicker, for example, choosing to not play his choice, but his reason was the chat, which he would totally be fine, just hire more mods. I'm the kind of person, I guess, who has a little bit of a tougher skin. Like, I don't get particularly bothered. Like, I don't allow myself to be personally bullied by people on Twitter. That's just not something that I do or that I'm comfortable with allowing myself to feel, and I just don't. And I think I don't think it's that easy to, I don't know, like, I don't think that this is gonna have me cancelled. Honestly, if I got cancelled right now with the amount of subscribers that I have on my new channel, I would have been okay. with that because there's always new people, more people that I can reach. This game is not an unsuccessful game. If I got cancelled and if I continued to make Hogwarts Legacy content, I believe that over time I would attract enough, people, enough audience to kind of make up for that loss. I so far haven't really lost anything, but at the same time, I will not be a quiet voice. I will not just like sit on the side and watch these things unravel and watch people get bullied into oblivion and stop creating content because of the few loud people. If you look at the trending category on Twitter, like this is a few people. This is not hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people tweeting about this. These things, like this person got what, 373 retweets. I have no idea why I'm here. Oh, because I see. Some of these people are very loud, but there's not a lot of people who are loud. I'm pretty sure that Zepla's channel is going to be fine. And I'm pretty sure that my channel also is going to be fine. But at this point, I don't think that that's something that we should be focusing on. What we should be focusing on are the real issues, the real things that are happening in the world. If you want to focus on the issues that trans people are facing, do focus on the real life events. Do focus on the fact that there are teenage trans kids being murdered that, by the way, J.K. Rowling had surprisingly nothing to do with. Do focus on the real things and real people harming other real people, and not people out here trying to play a game, trying to play Hogwarts Legacy, or trying to play Atomic Heart, or trying to play anything. I'm tired of it, and I cannot believe how dangerous humans have become with their mindsets and with the things that they're ready to do, with the lengths that they're ready to go to. They are a loud minority, and a lot of, not most, but a lot of trans people have come out and said that those people don't represent them, that they don't want to be represented by this crowd. And there's an overwhelming amount of people who are basically just hiding the fact that they're playing the game. The Steam sales can tell you that. It's actually kind of insane. This is new that I missed the Twitter DLC for Hogwarts Legacy. Yes, you may have, because there are plenty of things happening on Twitter that I think that I just have to start talking about, because I can't just, I don't know, spend my life ignoring these things, I suppose. We shouldn't let anyone dictate what we do. No, we call someone who tries to do that a dictator. I mean, I understand people voicing their opinions. I absolutely think that everyone in this world has the right to go out on Twitter and to say, hey, I'm playing this game, or hey, I'm not playing this game. And it's okay to have conversations. I don't think that this should turn into a taboo that people shouldn't talk about. I think it's the bullying and the harassment and doxing streamers and making them cry on stream and pushing them into playing or not playing the game or whatever. That's where I draw the line. I draw the line where when there's death threats, when there's threats to my community, when there's threats to me, when there's threats to other people, when there's things like this going on. Honestly, the best thing that Zepla can do right now is just basically go radio silent for like a week and not even read these unhinged comments that are happening on her Twitter, because it makes no sense. What are you gonna do? You're not gonna be able to say anything that changes their attitude or their behavior. She posted a video that had very little wrong with it. I already mentioned what I thought was wrong with it, and hi Morgan, welcome back, what's up? I already mentioned that. For the rest of the things, I think it was fine. Like, she made some really good points, and I think that people just need to stop getting into other people's business. Even if it was the right thing to do, to say, hey, don't play this game, say it once. Say it once. And be done with it. It's like, if every single person who thinks that other people shouldn't be playing this game, have them tweet once, and this whole thing would have been way less overblown, but instead you have an overwhelming amount of people whose voices aren't being heard as units, and all they wish to do in their life is just for their voice, their singular voice, to be heard, not their attitude, not their belief, but their voice. They feel unheard as a person. Their ego is butthurt, and of instead of their voice being heard, they're heard as this buzzing hive that's going around saying the same thing over and over and over and over again, and people are tired of it. People are just so tired of it. And Mr. Luckily, I haven't had anyone actually come into my stream. I decided to make this video before ever really going to I guess, I don't know, going through the lengths of banning someone or whatever. I think there was maybe one person or whatever. I'm not super sensitive to it, so I don't really keep track of it. But yes, the attention is what they want. But it's not just the attention. It's not just their ideology being heard. Like I said, it's their voice wanting to be heard. They would love to be in a position of someone who's like Zepla or Asmongold or whatever, and use their big platform to I guess share their opinion or whatever, but they don't have a platform and they don't have a voice because they've never contributed to anything that could possibly give them a voice in this world, and there was a lot of frustration because of that. They will just roam around all the social media and actually try to actively harm people who have a voice. These people have worked hard for their voices, and everyone's voice deserves to be heard. Zepla didn't advocate for this game to be purchased or whatever. Asmongold didn't say go and buy the game. I didn't ever go on my Twitter account and say please or go buy the game. I said that I'm enjoying the game. I said that the game is good, but I've never gone and, like, I don't know, bullied someone into buying the game. And how would that be different than like bullying someone into like not buying this game? It's wrong. It's wrong. It can escalate because people are getting to the point where they feel like they suddenly have the power to be other people's judge, jury, and executioner all at the same time. Internet is a very dangerous place for these individuals because it gives them this false sensation of power that they do not possess, that they shouldn't possess. No one gives you the right to go around doxing people, calling upon death of anyone or whatever. Like, those are the things that I personally found wrong, even with this whole Russia versus Ukraine situation. And I know this is still a sensitive topic, and I have no intention of going to the lengths of, like, I don't know, saying something about like the war or the politics or anything. Like, I just don't want to get involved with it. But I think that no matter what, no matter the circumstances, no matter what, I don't think it's a good decision from the social media executives to allow public calling for death of any individual, because you're not in charge of who should be dead or alive. I'm not a religious person. Some people would say God is in charge or whatever. In my eyes, law is in charge, and law will deal with it one way or another. And people could say that that's unjust, to say that war is not fair, that people don't get what they deserved. But you're not the one, regardless of their life being unfair, and we know that life is not fair, regardless of all of that, you're not the executioner of the justice that admittedly might be justice. But it's not your business. It's not you who should be calling for death of anyone, regardless of what you think or what you feel. Some people, yes, some people are very good candidates for that. I agree. I know this. And I'm not speaking against it. I just think that it spreads hate, and it spreads this negative energy, and it spreads this fake sensation of power that people drink from, and they believe that they are much more than what they actually are. They think that it's okay to I don't know, do hate raids on Twitter or YouTube or wherever, and get other people in trouble and get their channels shut down or whatever over something that they believe. That's how wars start. That's not how wars end. And I think that there have not been a lot of Hogwarts Legacy streamers and content creators who have actively said something hateful about anyone. These are not bad people. They are not going around social media saying bad things. Like, I am yet to see a single transphobic comment from a Hogwarts Legacy content creator who's saying, yes, I'm a transphobe and I'm gonna make this content for everyone to be mad because I'm actively supporting these vague things that J.K. Rowling has supposedly done or said or whatever. I am yet to hear someone like that. Whole thing is even dumber because you just know one of them would be willing to say this stuff in person, because make these kinds of claims to someone's face, that's how you get punched. Exactly! Everyone thinks that they have the power on internet, and this just needs to stop. People need to, like, honestly, internet is still, regardless of all the bans on social media, of all the possibilities for you to report someone or block someone, it's a wild west, right? And there are a huge amount of things that are said on the internet that shouldn't be said to anyone at all. Name calling, death threats, I don't know, saying that someone should end their own life or whatever. Also, like 5 followers over saying that people shouldn't attack streamers. Some people are just for that. Honestly, it's cleansing. It's cleansing. I would rather have my number of followers on all my social media split in half if I never have to go through something like this again. And I don't think, I don't know, like, it's just beyond me that people still don't understand this. I get the issue. I do think that all the, like, every single person, trans or not, colored or not, anything or not, should have human rights. That's obvious. We all know this. No one's calling for trans harm or whatever. No one's trying to get anyone hurt here. Okay? No one's trying to fund a campaign. Everyone keeps talking about this J.K. Rowling campaign that she's making. Like, everyone's just, like, out there trying to explain to people how J.K. Rowling is creating some sort of Dumbledore army or whatever, full of witches and wizards who are going to, like, I don't know, fight this system and basically get the trans people under the heel or whatever. It's wild. Where is this campaign? Where is her sign up? Where is the actual website? Where is her saying, okay, people, let's gather? Where is her protesting and calling for people's participation? She says she wanted spaces for biological women, and that's fine. I stand behind that, and I'm not afraid to say this on social media. If men can have their men's clubs or whatever, where only men can, like, gather and participate in or whatever, women can have their own groups and shelters and activities and whatnot as well. Why does a shelter for biological women have to mean that trans people are being put to harm? No one's stopping trans people from creating their own shelter for doing that. Hey, feminists fight for female rights all the time, and they were completely fine with women getting their own disciplines in sports, because they know, and everyone knows, that women shouldn't be competing with men in sports because women are physically inferior to men. They are. We are. I, as a woman, as a biological woman, am physically inferior to an adult man, and I don't want to compete in men's sports. How is it okay to separate women's and men's sports, but it isn't okay to have dedicated shelters for women without without that meaning that trans people can't have their own, or that men can't have their own. Everyone can't have their own. What is wrong with these things getting separated? What is wrong with all of that? It's just too much of a change for people. They're not willing to go through the change to make these things happen for them. What's your opinion on Zepla's situation? Personally, think that she is based. I actually spent like the first hour of the stream talking about it. I kind of opened up with it because honestly, I am just upset. Well, upset. I am just baffled about how wild people are in thinking that it is their job and their place in telling content creators what they need to do for their living. Whereas all these people are still out there working at their McDonald's, working at their Amazons, working at their Apples, working at, I don't know, Chick-fil-A's, Burger King's, whatever, Disney's, Coca-Cola's, and whatnot, not giving up on their job, or not giving up on the things that they would, that they buy, like hardware, like phones, or whatever, that aren't sometimes even made by adults to begin with, like adult hands, and we all know what that means. It's like they're the ones telling other people what they should buy or what they should not buy. Oh, the leeches. I see. No, I have, it's great for those who's for making potions. Oh, I can't, oh, I actually, wait, what? I have to walk there? So yeah, if based means... Well, yeah, I mean, if I was to boycott everything, then I might as well not stream, because YouTube is evil, because Amazon is evil, and Twitch is evil. Like, what are we even doing on Twitch? What are we even doing using Twitter as an app talking about these things? It's like, if you're gonna respect your values, if you're gonna respect those values, then get off of Twitter, get off of Amazon and Twitch, and get off of all these platforms that are non-essential, because people are counter-arguing this with saying that you have to not respect the ethical consumerism when it comes to their essentials. Twitter is not essential. YouTube and Twitch are not essential. So what are you doing? What are you doing on your platforms where you're basically selectively choosing the goods that you're gonna consume to attack other people for consuming other goods that are, for some reason, not even unethically made. Yes, a portion of that money is gonna go to her, but the game is not unethically made. She didn't make the game, the developers did. And I would say that this game is less unethically made than a lot of hardware and other pieces of shit that they buy is made. It's like this game is made by good people, by people who love this world, and by, you know, just generally talented people. It's not some phone that was put together by, you know, hands of an enslaved 6-year-old or whatever. You know, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you know what I mean. Like, it's crazy. It's like people think that it's only about the essentials, but they're not willing to sit down and do research on the things that they own, that they don't need, and then go from there. It's like, if you get rid of all of that, I'm gonna be the first one to put down my Twitter, my Twitch, my YouTube, everything that I've ever ordered from Amazon or eBay or whatever. I am just going to get rid of all of that. If everyone gets rid of their... I'm not even gonna ask for all the things. If everyone gets rid of their non-essential things and stops, I don't know, asking like Hogwarts Legacy per se is the worst thing that's ever happened to the world, I'll be the one to follow. Until then, I'm gonna do what I want. How do you play this game? Because transphobia says the online troll typing on Twitter with this moment. Yes, exactly. That's the whole hypocrisy of it, and I don't take that bullshit. Because they're hypocrites, if we're honest, the majority of people are frequent hypocrites, do not realize that they're just not very smart. I mean, I wrote about it on Twitter, and basically the first counter argument was like, oh, but you're comparing food and, I don't know, clothing to like something that is non-essential. I would even go as far as to say that the world of Hogwarts, I'm not going to say Harry Potter, but the world of Hogwarts itself is what actually saved a lot of people from their depression, from the thoughts of self-harm, from the abuse abuse, sorry, that they've faced in real life, and it has served as a shelter that they've been able to escape into for almost 10 years. Honestly, there are many people with stories like that, and that's what I personally consider essential. It's making a lot of people it's making a lot of people feel good, and I think that's essential. It's bringing joy to a lot of people. It's making a lot of people relive their best memories, and I think that's essential. Whatever.